Ian from RTO. Firstly, there's no Richard with us today because unfortunately he can't make it. So, yeah, this is a strange one. But it's the first time I think Matt, Mike and myself have done one together. We've been on.
Yes, yeah. Just a turn around. Yeah.
I'm not going to introduce Mike because you see him every Thursday night.
Yeah.
You should know him by now. So what we're doing today? Well, Ian and Richard, all three of us are big fans of a great little folk band called Steeleye Span. So that's what we're going to do for you. A bit of folk, with our top 10 tunes. And I've got quite a lot of bubbling unders, and I know Mike has as well. So that's good.
Yeah, certainly have.
So this is how we do it. Mike will go first, I'll go second, and we'll see how we go with this one.
Right.
So it's up to you starting.
Right. Okay. So my number 10, and it's actually a song that Steeleye Span have recorded twice on their first two albums, and it's a blacksmith. And the version I've chosen is the first version, the version that's on Heart of the Village Way from 1970. And the reason I've chosen that one over the other one, I mean, both are sung by Maddie Pryor, but in the first one you got some really lovely sort of harmony vocals from Gay Woods, and it's a bit more sort of upbeat. So it's one of those songs that. Not just Steeleye Span. It's been sung by sort of other people as well. It's a folk standard, really. Amongst these sort of 70s sort of folk bands and folk singers. So yeah, that's my number 10.
That's a great choice. We'll talk about that a bit more. But yeah, I think every time I've seen a folk band over the years, that is always in their set list.
Yeah.
It is. It's a very popular tune as well, isn't it? But people just love it. It's just.
Yeah.
I like both versions as well. But I'll tell you why I've went with the other version later.
Okay.
Okay, I'm starting off my number 10 with a sort of two tracks put together off my favourite album from '72. And that's Below the Salt, and it's the two jigs. The Bride's Favourite and Tansy's Fancy. I really love the jigs that Steeleye Span do. I mean, I've seen them twice, and they always do plenty of jigs, and they're such happy. And the thing is, because there's no singing there, you get Maddie Pryor prancing about on stage like a mad box of frogs.
Yeah.
I love Tansy's Fancy. There's some love. You can just about hear the mandolin that seems to keep that track going. It's there to the glue of that track. It's just a wonderful little jig, and it's such uplifting.
It is. It is lovely. Yeah. Yeah. First time I saw Steeleye Span was when they were touring with Below the Salt.
Wow.
I know. That's how old I am, folks. Yeah.
I didn't see them till
1972, 73, wasn't it? Yeah.
First time I saw them was 84.
Right.
But yeah, then they supported Status Quo and they went down a storm. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean the jigs and thrills are fantastic, and yeah, there's quite a few in their back catalogue. Yeah, so that's a great choice, mate. Right. So number 9. This is a bit of an odd one, really, and the reason I like this song is because it has such a weird story relating to it, and it's from Pleased to See the King, so that's 1971, and it is the King, and it's an a cappella song, and it was apparently collected from 2 old ladies in Pembrokeshire, and the story, what it's actually about, really weird, that it was sung on Twelfth Night, and it was meant to be a song that people go door to door with it, and sort of collecting money, and it was meant to be this idea that you're trying to hasten the end of winter, and sort of like the coming on of spring and summer, and there's 2 birds, the wren that sort of signifies winter, and a robin signifies summer. Even though now, robins are on Christmas cards, aren't they? But traditionally, a wren is signifying winter, robin summer. So what they would do is that they would kill a wren, and then they put it in a decorated box, and they take it from door to door, and they'd sing the song, The King, and people would pay money to see the king. That's the dead wren in the box, and they would hand over the money, and they would say, "Pleased to see the king."
Hence the.
I just think that's a brilliant story. So I love the song, and I thought, well, I'm going to get it in there in my top 10. So it's my number 9.
Yeah, I love that song. I mean, obviously, I played it last Sunday.
Yeah,
and it sounds, after all these years, I mean, I've heard it on tape and disc and that, but to hear it on the album, it's such a clear. The voices are just wonderful. What a great choice. Okay, my number 9 again comes from Below the Salt. Sorry, but I do love this album, and it's the brilliant Royal Forester. There's a bass line in that that's just. It's the engine of that song. And well, I remember when I heard they played this live, it's a real rich on the stage, but it just seems to glue. Everything seems to work around this bass line. Even Maddie's singing. It's just, and it's got a little bit of a rocky beat to it as well. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. That's a great choice, but yeah, it's a great album.
Can't go wrong with Royal Forester. It's just
that's it. Yeah. That's an excellent choice, mate. Yeah, we'll be hearing more about Below the Salt later on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. So is it my go then? Number 8.
Yes, yeah.
And it's another song that's got a story behind it, and it's actually one that's associated with Martin Carthy. Martin Carthy was in the band at this time because it's from 10 Man Mop, 1971. And the track's called Skewball. And it's available sort of elsewhere, sort of, other people sung it. Martin Carthy sung it on his own. And it's sometimes called Skewball with a D at the end. And it's about a horse race in Ireland in 1847. What happened is that the American racehorses were sort of derided. They were called circus horses. They were called quarter horses because people said they're only good for a quarter of a mile. And this American horse was brought over for a long distance race at Kildare in 1847 and absolutely wiped the floor with the local opposition. And so that's why I've chosen this one again. Another song with a story, and it's brilliant. Martin Carthy's vocals are, always spot on, and I just love that song.
Yeah, he tells that story on one of the live albums.
Right.
Yeah. It is. It's a great song, and it's just I love the story. That's what I like about folk. It's always related to something or a person from history, and you can see this song coming down through the generations and the stories, and and Steeleye Span turned it into a great song. What a good choice. Okay, for my number 8, I'm going to another album from 1973, A Parcel of Rose, and the lovely harmonizing the ups and downs. I just adore this. The thing with Steeleye Span, I think they can all sing, which helps. So when you do songs like this, it's a little bit of a round, and the harmonizing is absolutely wonderful. It doesn't matter who's in the band. It could be Martin McCarthy singing, or Ashley Hutchins singing, it, or anyone else. Every time you hear it, on live albums, it just sounds the same. And that just shows the quality of this band. It's one of my favourite sort of harmonising songs I ever did. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's that's a great choice as well. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So right, number 7, and it's a debut album again, Heart of the Village Way, and this one it's vocals by Gay Woods. Of course, Gay was only in the band for the one album, and it's A Dark-Eyed Sailor. Again, it's an absolutely fantastic song. I absolutely love this, and yeah, it's a story as well, and it's about the perils of sea voyages, really. That people go on sea voyages, and they might last years. So if you get a couple of lovers, and they get parted for many years because the lad goes to sea, and a tradition was to have a ring and to split it, and they would keep half of the ring each as a sort of token of their sort of love and devotion for each other. And this is a song that the sailor comes back, and she doesn't recognise him at first, and she thinks that her lover has sort of died at sea, and it's a lovely song, and Gay's vocals are absolutely spot on with this. Absolutely lovely song. So that's Dark-Eyed Sailor, my number 7.
Yeah, I can't. It is. It's a lovely love song, but without being slushy and too sanctimonious, isn't it? It's a story about a love, that sort of thing, and the bit where she's talking about when she sees him again, and how they get that across is brilliant. And then it's the light, but it is him, and everything's all hunky dory again. What a great choice. Okay, my number 7 comes from 1971. I'm not going to call it its full name because it's 10-man mark. Again, it's one of those great songs, some great singing, and the playing on this is brilliant. It's Marrowbones. A lovely bass. It's just, again, the drumming on this is just fantastic. It just keeps, it's the sort of the rolling sort of drums as well. It's just thing, and of course Maddie. Well,
yeah. It's a good fun song. It's Marrowbone.
Yeah, it's got a lot of humour, isn't it? It's
yeah. I just love the line. She loved her old man dearly, but another man twice as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of skullduggery going on in that song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I put it my number 7, because I think it's just a lot of fun.
Right. Okay. Right. My number 6, and this is from Below the Salt, and it's another nautically themed one, and that's Saucy Sailor. And again, a song that I really like. Somebody trying to get the better of this sailor, and they picked on the wrong person, basically.
Yes.
A mugging gone wrong, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, it's just a great song. There's a story there, and so many of the songs, there's a story associated to the song. The lyrics are so important with a lot of Steeleye Span stuff, and also their folk music in general, I think.
Yeah, I think that song you can relate to anyone. I think everyone has been through that in life, where someone's try to get the better of you, and you cotton on very quickly, and then they're the people that are made to look the silly fools. And that's what that song is. Pick on me and you pick the wrong person.
Yeah.
I think the vocal delivery, especially Maddie, I think she plays the sort of, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing about the band as well. When they've got these stories, it it's, you know, there's two of them singing it. There's a great interplay, and they're playing off each other, and they're playing these characters. They bring this. That's what brings these songs to life. It's the way they deliver the vocal and the responses. It's another great choice. Okay, my number 6. We're going to 1975 for this one, for the Commoner's Crown. Sorry, and Back Goes to Limerick. Now, this is a song that's split into two halves, really. The first bit, it's all quiet and a lovely vocal, and then all of a sudden, bang, and off we go.
Yeah.
It's near enough a 12-bar blue boogie. Done.
Yeah.
It's just the way it starts, you know, and then Maddie just electrifies it. I love playing that. It's probably one of my favourite tracks off that album.
Right, yeah, I agree with you. But, you know, you talk about the change of tempo, and, you know, there's a song coming up in my list where, you know, the change of tempo really does it for me, but I'll come to that later. Yeah, so it's me for number 5, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, number 5. So this is a song that lots of people have done. And the great Shirley Collins has done this. It's a traditional song. But Maddie does it better, I think. And it's from All Around My Hat, and it's Hard Times of Old England. And, you know, she really sort of, you know, conveys the sort of, I say despair, but, you know, people sort of, you know, fed up. And I think you can sort of relate to it today, you know, that things aren't, you know, things aren't going too well, are they, sort of economically? And, you know, this is a song from, I think the 19th century, Hard Times of Old England, you know, where, you know, a person who's singing this song and, you know, hoping that the hard times of old England will soon be sort of behind them. And yeah, as I say, you know, I love this because Maddie does it so well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shirley Collins, does a fine. It's a fine version she does, but I'm with you on that. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay, my number 5 comes from 1974, and it's another jig off We Are Six, and it's the Moon Queen jig. Now, I love this because I think the mandolin was made for folk music. Yeah. And this is a great, again, it's a more of a boogie shuffle. It's a shuffle, this is, but the mandolin on this is just fantastic. Makes the song. Everything else is great, but if it weren't for that mandolin, I don't think it'd be as good as it was.
No, it's great choice. Yeah, I think it was a B-side of their only chart single, which was Gaudete. It's a B-side of that. I'm sure it is. Yeah. That's a great choice. Right, number four, and this is from 10 Man Mop, and this is When I Was on Horseback.
Well, that nearly made my list. I'm glad you put it in. That one off.
Yeah, it's just an absolutely lovely song, and it's a bit of a strange one because apparently nobody really knows what it's about or who it's about, because it sounds as though it's about a particular event. It actually mentions a date, but nobody really knows, as far as I know, sort of, you know, what the song actually relates to. But it's about a soldier who sort of died, and it's his funeral basically. And it's quite a sort of a melancholy song, but it's absolutely beautiful. And you know, I just had to put it on there in my list. So it's number 4. When I Was on Horseback.
Yeah, they take the mood of that very well, don't they? It just shows the expression of sorrow and sadness. It's a great track. Okay, my number 4 from 1975, All Around My Hat, and it's Black Jack Davy. Again, what a story.
Yeah.
Very 19th century England, delivered wonderfully by the band.
Yeah, yeah.
Industrial England. It was, all about, it's about coal mines and the mining industry in its infancy, and there's a sadness in it. There's happiness. It shows what it was like to be basically a miner in this time. It's a brilliant song. It's history. So for all you history buffs, that it tells the history of the early days of coal mining.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Yeah, yeah. My next choice, number 3, is also sort of relating to, Victorian industry, the birth of industry, and the troubles sort of around that for many people. People that had to sort of come from the land where you weren't sort of governed by the clock to working in the factory where you have to be there a certain time. You're there for 12 hours or more maybe, and life is sort of hard. And it's from Parcel Roads, and it's The Weaver and the Factory Maid.
Oh, that's a lovely song. Yeah, before I don't know, I've got to, because it's in my head now. When we did the Industrial Revolution at school, my teacher says, "Go and listen to this song."
Oh right, yeah, because it's somebody who's sort of conflicted, because they're a weaver, and weavers who was sort of it was literally a industry. People would have their looms in their homes, and they would weave cloth and make a living. And then the factories came along, and they produced sort of 100 times sort of as much cloth, and they were putting the weavers out of business and forcing them into the towns to work in the factories. But this weaver, he's in love with a girl who works in the factory, and it's friends and family saying, "Oh, come on, how can you love somebody that sort of works in a factory that's sort of taking your livelihood away from?" And he says basically, sort of, but you've not seen her breast, mate. She's the one for me. And again, it's a fantastic song with a story.
Very, very good song. Okay, my number 3. Well, you've already mentioned it. It's the song that's on 2 albums. It's The Blacksmith. So I do like the more harmonising version on Heart of the Village Way, but I've gone for the one on Pleased to See the King. I think I prefer that one because it has got the music. What I like about it, they've changed the arrangement a little bit. Both to some, but for some reason I do prefer the one with the bit of on it as well, and the harmonising vocals are great. I mean, obviously on the first one you've got Gay no longer with the band, but you don't notice that in the singing, do you? It's the continuity.
Yeah, they're two very different songs, aren't they? And the version on the first album is more upbeat than the second. But yeah, I mean, both versions are excellent. So I'm not surprised, it's so high in your list.
Yeah, it's great that both versions have been mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The top 2 then. So my number 2, Hark the Village Waits Again, and it's Lowlands of Holland.
Beautiful song.
And yeah, absolutely beautiful song. Again, it's about, a lad who's sort of like, taken away from his lover, who's serving abroad. And that again, a sort of an interesting thing for me anyway is that when they refer to Holland, it's not clear that people don't, haven't really discerned whether they're talking about Holland as in the Netherlands or New Holland would be Australia.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is, it's a very, very long sort of sea journey, sort of service in the Navy. And it's one of those songs. I love it. And yeah, I've always loved this song. So it had to be my number 2.
What a great choice. We might talk about that in a bit. Okay, my number 2 from 1972. It actually got in the charts. It got to number 14. It's from Below the Salt, and it's Gouda Date. Oh, I actually saw them at Christmas when they supported Quell at Christmas, and when the show started, it just went black, and then there was a few lights come on, and they were all standing together in the middle of the stage, and they went into this. I think it was at the NEC. I have never seen a crowd at the NEC, just no noise, nothing. You could hear a pin drop. All you could hear was the band at the time singing this.
Yeah.
Like back of your neck.
Yeah, like you said earlier on, that they can all sing, and if they couldn't, it would be far more difficult to pull this one off. Yeah, a fantastic song, and they managed to get a song sung in Latin into the top 20. So
yeah, I do sort of half remember it as a kid in the charts, and then a few years later, because I've talked about this before. We had a music teacher that was and we did this at school,
right?
Because she wanted to teach us about harmonizing and singing in different keys.
Yeah.
And she said, this song Gouda Date is a fine example of how you can sing a song, harmonize in different keys, and when you put it together, it sounds lovely. So I've got fond memories of that track.
Yeah, I bought the single, so there you go. Yeah, that's a good choice. I knew you'd have it in your top 10. Yeah, absolutely knew it. So, number 1. What's my number 1?
Cold. That's true.
And it's Below the Salt again, and it's Sheep, Crook, and Black Dog.
Oh.
Absolutely love this song, and we're talking about a change in tempo, but again, it's almost like 2 songs. And there's a male part and the female part, but it's all sung by Maddie, and it's quite a common theme in English folk music. And Martin Carthy does a song called "Better Be a Maid Than a Poor Man's Wife," and that's what this is about. But you've got the shepherd who's obviously doesn't have 2 halfpence to rub together. He's got his sheep, and he's got his he's got his sheep crook, he's got his black dog, and that's about it. That's about all he owns, and he wants to marry the girl that he loves, and she wants to marry him, but she can see that that's not going to be probably the best thing in life. So she says, look, I'll go into service. I'll go and work in the big house, and you can understand that, because people would people working as servants in an aristocratic sort of household would have a warm bed, a roof over their heads. They would be decently fed. So she says, look, I'll go and work as a sort of maid, or go into service, and then some years later, I'll marry you. and that's what this is all about. But it's such a beautiful song, and it starts off with Maddie is singing sort of a cappella, you know, um, you know, here's my sheep, here's my black dog, I give them to you, and that is brilliant. And then it just builds and builds, and then you get that sort of musical interlude in the middle, and then the song changes.
Yeah,
and it's her perspective,
Maddie's delivery on that again. She was she is. She's still doing it now. She can deliver a song in different moods. I mean, it's like when she played on Mike Oldfield's Incantations. Beautiful how she interpreted that. It doesn't matter if it's her own stuff or someone else's. She goes in and she gives a performance every time she sings it. What a great choice.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark. Well, my number one was a single again. It got top 10 for them. And this is my number one because it's the first thing I ever heard by the band. And it's always been a very special song. And it's the obvious one, I'm afraid. It's All Around My Heart.
Yeah. Nice choice.
Yeah, I've got it. I brought it on single. It was brought for me on single, and I don't know why. People go, "Oh, everyone knows that one," but there's just something about that song. It's a thing. It's a proper shuffle song because it's one of the best tracks that Status Quo did on that awful Don't Stop album because Maddie sang on it. And I've seen her do it with Quo, and it's a brilliant song. It's brilliantly put together. And, and I can listen to it now and it still brings back the memories of seeing it on Top of the Pops as would have been about 9.
Right. Yeah. Again. I think I've got that single as well, actually. But again, it's sort of it starts off with Maddie, doesn't it? On her own, and then the band kick in.
Yeah.
And the tempo just sort of like goes up sort of 2 or 3 steps, and it's a fun song. Yeah. Excellent choice for number one.
Excellent. I think that top, but there's 20 great songs there.
Yeah.
So if they were the ones that made it. So what's in the bubbling unders? Because I'm sure there's going to be some great songs on here as well.
Yeah. Okay then. So my first one is possibly a bit of an odd choice, but I just absolutely love this song. And it features Peter Sellers. It's on Commoner's Crown, and it's New York Girls.
Yes.
And it's such a fun song. It's basically, it's about, sailors in town in New York. They get sort of picked up by a prostitute who, takes them back to the brothel, gets them drunk, and they wake up next morning and they've been robbed.
Peter Sellers is brilliant in it.
But it's just lovely. I just love Peter Sellers. Sort of, he's playing the ukulele, and he's got he's got his best sort of goons voice going, I think. And I just love it. I just think it's such a fun song.
You have helped from here. He's falling in the water.
Exactly. It's that voice, isn't it? Yeah. And I just love that. I absolutely love it. It always makes me smile. Anyway, so that's my first popping on it. So next one, from Pleased to See the King, False Night in the Road. It's a Martin Carthy song. Always like Martin Carthy's vocals, and it's one of those songs where, in this case, it's a lad. He encounters the devil on the road. So the false knight is a devil, and you answer the devil's questions correctly, or you're on your way to hell. And that's it. It's a great song as far as I'm concerned. So that's another bubbling under. Right. Next one. Yeah, it's on Rocket Cottage, and it's Fighting for Strangers. And yeah, again, I don't think Rocket Cottage is their best album by any means, but this track, I just really love it. It's you know, one of those things, you know, that sort of you know, because when you go to war, that's what you're doing, aren't you? You're fighting for strangers.
Yes.
It's great. It's great. Go What's That from 10 Man Mob. Again, a very similar theme to The King. You know, people going door to door, and they sing the song, and you know, they get rewarded with maybe a drink or some money in return.
Yeah,
and again,
that's what I love about them. A lot of these are very, you know, 14th, 15th century sort of folklore songs, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, I've got a few here. And, I'll just do two more. There's you know, a jig and a reel from again from Pleased to See the King, and that's Brian O'Lynn with a Hag with the Money.
Brilliant.
You know, I mean, I think whenever they do a jig or a reel, it's excellent stuff, and you know, this is no exception. And the final one that I think I'll mention is again from the debut album from Heart the Village Way, and it's All Things Were Quite Silent, and it's about the press gangs and a woman lamenting that, you know, she's in bed with her lover and then the press gang break in and you know, take him away to the king. Yeah, and yeah. So again, you know, it is one of those songs that would have been sort of you know, the experience would have been by people, you know.
Yeah, handed down. The story's handed down, and this is
exactly
more legend, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got a couple more, but I'll leave it at that.
There were some great ones, because you know this was tough all round to do, because that you know, how can you leave songs like that off? But when you've got quality songs, I'll quickly go through mine, because there's a couple that have been already mentioned. My first one is Lowlands of Holland. I'm not going to say too much because you've told everything about it. It's just a wonderful vocal, Kay, fantastic. The next one was, it actually came out as a single, it didn't chart, but it's from We Are Six, and it's Thomas the Rhymer. A fine vocal, again, a story. It's got to be medieval, isn't it?
It sounds like it. Whether it is, you know, there's a whole video sort of like waiting to be made about sort of like the authenticity.
All I know, he was a very naughty boy.
Yeah.
My next one is from 1971, Pleased to See the King, and it's the wonderful Prince Charlie Stewart. They get about our Bonnie Prince. Martin's vocals on that are just, and then it's got him and I think him and Maddie were the best together. They sort of brought each other out. There was a bit of friendly competition there in a nice way, and that's just a great song. Okay, my next one comes from the Rocket Cottage. It's the 12 Witches. Again, it's the medieval story about burning witches, and you're a witch, and then they've got the witches doing their response to their crimes, and it's just a fun song. Another one you've already mentioned, The Hard Times of England. Again, very historical. You've said it all. And my last one is some reels from the 10 Man Mop. And it's Dow's favourite £10 float, which I think is brilliant. And then the Morning Dow. You've got three styles all in one. You've got the solemn, you've got the jolly, and then you've got the Harari. And how they sort of blend into each other to make a full song. because you've got that each one's got a different tempo.
Yeah.
And it just, I can't. Who drummed on this?
Sorry?
Who was the drummer on 10 Mop?
I don't know, because of the band. I don't think the band had a drummer.
No, that's what I mean. Whoever was doing the drumming.
So I'm not sure who it was, because you would, because I was thinking sort of like, I mean, who was in the band at the time? Because it was Peter Knight was on the fiddle, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so he's sort of
that is superb.
Yeah.
It's better Irish. It's got that real Celtic Irish feel to it, hasn't it? That one.
Yeah, because you've got Ashley Hutchins on the bass. Bob Johnson was in the band at that point, I think.
I think he was, yeah. But the drummer, he was superb, because to change like that was brilliant. Yeah, and end with another reel.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent tracks on that. All of them. I'm only going to put the top 10 songs on, and ones where they have sort of crossed over, I'll bung in a one from the Bubbling Unders list instead. So yeah, well, I've really enjoyed doing this. It's great.
Me too. I think it's really good.
Right, I do believe Richard will put his top 10 actually in the comments.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he did say that.
I'll look forward to that. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, that's it. It's Sunday. I'm going to finish this and then put my feet up, and you'll see Mike and myself on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then the next video we're going to have myself, Nick, and Richard, and Mike, and we're going to do Slade. We don't know quite how we're doing this one, but I'm sure we'll get it sorted. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you. So ta-ta for now.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.